like to say Jimigwet for everyone for coming today, and for Chloe and her family and Dresden Cared and all the volunteers for putting this event on. I'm happy to see both of our communities coming together for our shared cause and our concerns, and not giving up so easily, and still spreading messages of hope to province-wide that grassroots individuals like yourselves can make a difference. So I know we can be frustrated with this bill, but when we're carrying this water down here, just remember that we want to have good thoughts for it and put your prayers in it and try to keep any negativity out of it. So just keep that in mind when we're going down the river here. Okay? Jimigwet, everyone.
The water moves forward at all times. It doesn't stop. So when you are doing the exchange of paddlers from canoe, the boats will be flowing, so you don't have to worry about it being still, because the boat's still kind of moving a bit, right? And then when you have the water, a lot of the times the women who are with the water, they're not looking backwards because that water is moving forward, right? And so we will continue to move forward. When you get to Tupperville to take that break, one boat is going to be still moving with the water. So both vessels will go into that boat and it'll still keep moving, okay? Any questions regarding that? All right, miigwech for your dedication. It is going to be hot. It is going to be it's going to be a wonderful time though, and I'm glad that you guys are dedicated to this, and miigwech. Before contact, right? And so the copper kind of keeps the water clean and sacred. It's it's a traditional vessel.
That's to purify it.
And then once the water reaches Wallaceburg, what do they do at that point?
When it reaches Wallaceburg, then they will.
Got a picture you given the safety briefing. Do you go by Don Mudford or Shaughnessy?
Mudford.
Yeah. So we're connecting the water. So the water would still flow as it would, but we're carrying it.
Okay.
So, yeah, and so it'll connect back and it'll continue to flow. Right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
This past Sunday was the Paddle for Nibi. There was a sacred water ceremony that happened before Indigenous and settlers came together to fight for our rivers. Don Mudford, you were part of this. You weren't paddling, but you were alongside them for the ride, carrying life jackets and helping guide and keep the water moving, because there was a bottle of sacred water going along on the journey.
Yes, there was. I've never seen anything so special in my life. It brings tears to my eyes, really. The idea was that the water has to stay moving at all times. So even during a break that we took over lunch, everyone took turns doing a relay of the water. And I was honored to be able to carry that water for a brief period of time.
And you were saying that it had to be carried by a woman.
The water has to be carried by a woman. That was part of it. Women have a sacred role in relationship to the water.
How many people would you say took part in the event?
Well, there was a lot of organizers that were there, and there was a lot of dignitaries. We had municipal councillors. We had the leader of the Green Party who was there, and he was just an amazing guy. He's just ready to get out there and spread the word about the hard work that's going on between the Dresden Caird community and the Walpole Island community, who are working very close together on this project. And he has said that he totally understands. He's right on board with what is going on with the protection of the water.
And he relayed that there are other communities that are backing this and supporting everybody involved.
He did. He said he was in Orangeville the night before and was talking about it, and he was quite pleased to hear that the people in Orangeville knew all about it and said, to tell us to go and kick their butts because it's not right. And as he said, and they understand too, that if it happens to a little community like ours, it can be done anywhere. This has opened up a whole can of worms for making the availability of doing whatever the Ontario provincial government wants to do without any repercussions or with any ground checks or anything else.
So this was put on by the ladies at O'Demany Geese's, so Amy White and Chloe White-Deleary. It was a peaceful protest. And there was a sunrise ceremony at 5:30 a.m. They brought water from Molly's Creek and then Sydenham water in the bottle, and this is what was carried?
There were actually two bottles. One of them came from Molly's Creek and the other from the Sydenham. And they were both blessed and prayers were said over them. And there were ceremonial songs that went along with it before they were passed to the paddlers to transport with them.
Is there significance why the bottles were copper?
It was explained that copper is pure and clean. That was the medium that they chose to transport the water in for that reason. It was beautiful being part of it. I felt very honored to be allowed to work with the ladies of Walpole Island. I met the chief, Leela Thomas. She was with us all day. She is just a beautiful person, just a lovely lady. And I learned lots from her in conversation. In my prayers, I hope that we can get them to realize the error that they're making in going forward with the landfill that's planned here. I just can't imagine what's going to happen to our water. The Sydenham River is so significant. It contains 82 species of fish and 34 species of freshwater mussels, many of which are endangered. My fear is that if this dump goes through within a few years, we're going to lose all of the endangered species, and we are going to be the endangered species ourselves then. When the paddlers left Dresden, I wished them well, prayed with the water with them, and I explained to them that they were about to see some of the most beautiful sights you could ever imagine on our little Sydenham River. And when they arrived back 5.5 hours later, it's a very long 24-kilometer paddle. When they arrived back, I asked them as they came in, what did you think of the Sydenham River? And they were all absolutely amazed at what they had seen. One person said that they felt like they were in Algonquin Park sometimes because it's just free of everything except nature. And they really got to enjoy the nature part of the river. They enjoyed seeing all the turtles. And as they left, a kingfisher flew up in front of them to guide them on their way. It was beautiful. And I truly believe that everyone that paddled on that river on that day came home with a whole different feeling and respect for the Sydenham River.
Green Party, and it's just a real honor to join you all today. And I want to say how much it warms my heart to spend some time in Dresden last night and today, and to see people standing up for their community, standing up to protect the people of places they love, and sending a direct message to Doug Ford to kill Bill 5. Bill 5 is an extraordinary and unprecedented power grab that we've never seen in Ontario's history, literally for a premier and a government to give themselves the power to override Indigenous rights, environmental protections, labor laws, basic democratic oversight through these special economic zones, and to single out Dresden. There are over 800 landfills in the province of Ontario, and to single out Dresden and say, you know what, we're gonna say no environmental assessment, I'm going to betray my promise to the people of this area that will actually do an environmental assessment on that dump. And when I tell people across the province, if the Premier can do it in Dresden, he can do it anywhere.
Right.
Like, we know York1 selected this site to get out of going through the more rigorous process that you would have to go through with the new landfill. But there's nothing that prevents the Premier now from saying, you know what, you want to do a landfill here? No environmental assessment, no labor laws, no duty to consult. We'll just get rid of all those laws. Like, that's what the special economic zones do. And so I want to leave you with some hope. And Leela and I have talked about this, that when Bill 23 to open the Greenbelt was passed in the fall of 2022, a movement of people, like the people right here, built and built and built. And I can't tell you how many times people said to me, you know what, Mike, Bill 23's passed, the Greenbelt's going to be open for development, you can't stop it. And it was people across this province organizing and saying, Doug Ford, you have to keep your promise not to open the Greenbelt for development, and he backtracked. And so the same thing can happen with Bill 5. So don't let anybody tell you this is a done deal. This is far from being a done deal. You know, I've been speaking at rallies all across Ontario. I was just in Orangeville yesterday at a rally against Bill 5. And when I said I was coming to Dresden, people in Orangeville just said, tell everybody in Dresden we're fighting for them too. I want you to know. So I want you to know people across Ontario are with you. They're fighting for you. They're fighting with you. They understand how wrong and unjust it is. And I keep saying to folks, come here. Like, who builds a dump where there's a creek that runs into a river like this that then eventually makes its way into the Great Lakes? Like, who does that?
That's right.
Who does that? And who allows that to happen? And so you're ground zero of standing up against this. And so I just want to say to each and every one of you, my commitment to you, and I've had the same conversations with Liberals and NDPs at Queen's Park, and Bobby Ann Brady, who's an independent, but everyone knows was a conservative. Like, we're all with you. We're going to fight for you, with you, amplify your voice, do everything we can to help build a people-powered movement all across this province to kill Bill 5, because Indigenous rights matter, environmental protections matter, labor laws matter, and my gosh, our democracy matters. Like, people should have a say in what happens in their communities and in their backyards, and we're all going to fight together to stop this bill. So thank you for what you're doing today. Thank you for all the great work you've been doing. And Chloe, big shout out to you for organizing everybody and bringing us all together today.
Thank you guys. I think you guys covered everything. But yes, we've always stood up for the land. So let's continue to stand up for our home, our land, our water, the animals, and the next 7 generations. We're not going to stop fighting. And we're going to organize and we're going to come together and we're going to kill Bill 5 and the Dresden dump.